Okay, this month, July 2018, for the beginner fly tying box, we're going to tie a killer ant. This is a Daiichi dry fly hook. I'm using 6/0 brown thread. I thought this would be a good pattern to introduce working with sheet foam and some hackle. So what I'm going to do is just mount my hook in the vise, and we'll start wrapping our thread over the top away from us, and we can clip off the excess. Now for this particular fly, I'm going to just take a second and wrap around the hook shank here and just build a nice clean looking thread base covering up that hook. And I'm going to go all the way back to our tie-in point directly above the barb of the hook, and then I'm going to just turn right around and come forward directly above the point of the hook. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just got some 2mm sheet foam. This is a cinnamon brown color. You can use any color combination that you'd like. We're going to use this to make the body of this ant fly. So first thing I did is I just clipped a section there, and I want to make sure that it's no wider than the hook gap. If it's wider than the hook gap is this space between the shank and the point there, it'll be a little difficult to work with. So once I've got that clipped off, I'm just going to hold it right there. Now before I do that, let's just take a little tiny bit of Zap-A-Gap, and this can become messy in a hurry, so if you need to use a little needle or something, but you just need a nice small drop there, something that we can lay this foam against and come around with a loose wrap, and then add a little tension after you make one full turn. Let's do 2 or 3 wraps there like that, and that'll just hold that foam right on top. Now I want to make just a small section there, so let's just carefully bring our thread just forward a little bit and cinch it down, and that captures a little more foam there. And then I get a nice little tag area there with my thread. The reason for that is we're going to put a little section of hackle there, so I've got some awesome Whiting Farms brown saddle hackle here. This is just a nice long piece. I'm going to start here with the butt section there and just clear up some of those hackle fibers and use your fingernails there, and you can just get that little stem there. Alright, now what I like to do just to help this hackle along, just come back and put another tiny drop of glue right there in that little groove of our thread, and just lay our hackle stem in there, and we'll tie that down. Be careful not to get too much glue. I got a little too much on that one. It's easy to do. Sometimes it's better to use a little bodkin to add. Now we're just going to wrap this hackle over the top away from us about 3 times. That gives us a little section of hackle there. We can hold the hackle straight up in the air and bring our thread over just maybe 2 times. That glue will help capture that down as well as our thread. Alright, now we're done with that back section of the ant. Let's pull the foam forward, bring the thread up underneath, and we will advance that to 2/3 up the hook shank to about right there, and we'll repeat those steps. Again, put a tiny drop of glue there. This just makes this fly a little more durable. Hold the foam down against it, come around with a loose wrap, secure that in, try to keep it from rotating around the hook. Now we're going to make our little thread base area. Right there. Now for the front section, instead of just doing hackle, I'm going to add another piece of foam. I've just got some orange foam here, and I'm going to put a little post up there so that will this fly will be a lot more visible it'll sit up there. You can see it from a mile away. So I'll just take that little piece of foam, it's thinner than the brown section, and capture that and secure that and tie that down in that same little thread area. This time I'm going to use a bodkin to put a little bit of glue on there. Try to manage that a little better. Just wipe a little bit down in there, keep it from gobbing up. And we'll strip that hackle, hold it in there just kind of on a slight angle, and then we can tie that in. Let's make our over the top away from us about 2 turns. Hold our hackle straight up in the air, drop our thread over with our left hand about twice, and now we can snip off that excess. Alright, now what we need to do is just pull this foam back and come up underneath, and that is where we will whip finish. And it's a little tricky up under that foam. You might have to angle your whip finish or hold that foam back, and we can create a good little whip finish up underneath there. Trim that off. Now we can trim the front and the back how we like it. I'm going to just come forward just slightly, almost like look at it at 3 sections and make 3 equal sections. And we can round the back if it had sharper scissors, and we can round the front if we like, and trim this down just a little bit. Fish won't really see that, but what you have is a really effective small little ant fly. It works really well in the summer for trout. I've caught a lot of bluegill on this thing, but it's a great little fly that's highly visible.